patriots. My interest in the youth and their problems is not new because it does not come from a political calculation. It is the expression of my acute awareness that youth is the part of life where each person can achieve the most for himself and for the nation. This is the period when everyone's performance is higher. This is how our country, richly endowed by nature and history, has witnessed the development over time and at different moments of young people with exceptional talents, proud ambassadors of Cameroon in almost every field. I will no doubt appear arbitrary, certainly incomplete, but I must mention in these different fields some names to illustrate the prodigious wealth which has brought to our country so much admiration on the international scene. Some of them are no more young, but the majority is of the new generation, perpetuating what has become the peculiarity of Cameroon's social fabric. The intellectual domain with references like the thinker Achille Mbembe, the novelist Calix Peala, Leonoro Miano, Patrice Ngana, Imbolo Bue, the economist and writer Celestin Monga, and many others. The scientific, technical, and innovation field. I'm particularly attentive to promising young people like Olivier Madiba, with the first video game creating company and his first role-playing game, Orion. Cedric Akangana for Wikasho, Arthur Zhang for his cardiopath, Alain Teff for The Gifted Mom, Chochi Nanje for Njorku, who revolutionized the job search, and the collective of Silicon Mountains, which is the true nursery of talents for the rise of the digital economy in Cameroon. The cultural and artistic field, where the flag of Cameroon is raised to the skies by exceptional personalities like musician Richard Mbona, the curator, writer, and art critic Simon Njami, the poet Paul Dakeo, the filmmaker Jean-Pierre Bekolo, visual artist Togu Antayo, the dancer and playwright Were Were Liking, whose talent has splashed African opera theater for decades. The singers Charlotte Dipanda, Kares Foto, Loco, Mr. Leo, Daphne, Magasco, Tenor. I can but mention Jules Tekam, the first composer of Cameroonian opera and learned music, and probably the soul from sub-Saharan Africa, Greg Belobo, one of the rare African opera singers. I cannot forget the talent of our young designers who continue to surprise us with their creativity. I will mention in particular fashion designers FK, Marielle Couture, French Kind, G-Side, Headbit, Sanja, Israel B. And I take the opportunity to greet all of those of you that I did not mention for time constraint. In this regard, I would also like to appreciate the young Bayam-Salams, the motor taxis, the street sellers, commonly called sauveteurs, who, despite the difficult context, have managed to organize themselves in bringing color to our economy, providing poor people in the population with food and clothing, means of transportation to overcome the chaotic state of our roads. I know how you are violently removed from your counters without promises of relocation, and that the promises that are often made in this way are never kept. I know the vexations, the mistreatment of the youngest and the helpless children. I have a particular regard for the young, some of whom, exhausted, question their Cameroonian nationality, or go so far as to a thing of cessation. I speak of those who, for lack of guidance, are enlisted by terrorist groups. I speak of those thousands of young people who, with lost hope, take the risk of challenging the Libyan mafia organizations to go face the sea because they dream of a better future in the West if they are ever successful. The Cameroonian youth is the main heroes of our country. The youth must be aware of their responsibilities and their irreplaceable role. None has the right to take away that legacy and role you should be proud of. Nobody has the right to get you to put yourself in question, to extinguish your dreams for the future, to make you orphans of progress in a world where everything has become possible with the limitless possibilities offered by modern technologies. Cameroon does not belong to a category of young people. Our country belongs to all its children, to all Cameroonians. Even the political domain makes it possible to verify the exceptional role of young Cameroonians in the construction of a modern state and a nation that is gradually being built up. I recall in this regard that Hamadou Ahidjo was only 35 in 1958 when he became Prime Minister of the Cameroon territory under French administration, and 36 when he became the first President of the Republic of Cameroon. That John Bufoncha and Ngomjua were only 43 and 40 years old, respectively, when they became one after another the Prime Minister of West Cameroon. That Mr. Paul Biya was only 42 when he was appointed Prime Minister of the United Republic of Cameroon in 1975, and 49 when he became President of the Republic in 1982. And how can I forget that the nationalists who, by rising up against colonial rule, made the independence of our country possible as of 1st January 1960, were all under 40 when they began their historical struggle. Umniobe, who became the Secretary General of UPC at 35, died assassinated at 45. Felix Roland Mumie, poisoned at 35. Castor Osendi Afana, murdered at 36. Ernest Wandie, who was Vice President of UPC at only 28, was executed publicly at 53 after he had gifted Cameroonian people with his youth. If I recall these unforgettable, emblematic figures, it is to tell you that you cannot allow yourself to be spectators of your lives and of your future, nor postpone your civic involvement with an indifference that would be costly tomorrow. Even if you are not a militant of a political party, even if you do not want to campaign in a political party, get involved in the citizen action of registration on the electoral list. Go and vote when the time comes, and make sure none changes your democratic choice of leaders of our country. Your future depends on it. The Youth Pact I propose to you as part of the National Renaissance Project is, I hope, attractive. But it will remain mere ideas if each one of you did not get involved as part of a new awareness of the issues and challenges that are those of today's world, and even more so tomorrow. That is your world. That is why I reiterate my invitation to talks, because the modernization of the country will have to be an expression of your aspirations and our collective choice. I only ask to listen to you. I only ask to deal with you. Dear young people from Cameroon, for a long time, you have been called the spearhead of the nation. The time has come to shape the iron so that it is not an iron with a broken tip, unable to hit its target. The country is at a crossroads. The choices to come will be decided.
My dear brothers and sisters, I believe that it is quite clear for everyone that we have to make the right decision this year. And we know that Professor Maurice Kamto has a plan to develop our country. He wants to put Cameroonians, young Cameroonians, in the core of our development. So he counts on everyone, on young people, all people, intellectuals, illiterate, all those who didn't have the chance to go to school. He counts on everyone, guys. So this is the plan that Professor Maurice Kamto have for Cameroonians. It's not just today that he is addressing you. He's been doing that for so long time. He has something to offer to Cameroonians. We just need to open our hearts. We just need to invest ourselves to make that possible. We need to register on the electoral list, to go out there and cast our vote for Professor Maurice Kamto, and to be ready to defend our vote. This is the only recipe we have right now to solve our issue, to free ourselves, and to give us opportunities, better opportunities than what our parents inherited, because the situation has been worsening over time. This is the time for us to stop that massacre, that bloodshed, guys. We need our children to inherit a better Cameroon. Yes, if it is exactly what we need, then we have to take actions. Some concrete actions now. We've been talking too much. We've been whining, complaining. Yes, we know that the situation of young people is just terrible. It's chaotic, guys. Young people do not have opportunities to work. They can't put food on the table. They can't build up their families. We know that. We know the situation is really critical. But we have to do something to stop that. And the only one who is willing to stop that terrible situation is Professor Maurice Kamto. Professor Maurice Kamto wants to solve that issue by providing more opportunities to young people, because the middle class has been squeezed over these years. Professor Maurice Kamto wants to offer them more opportunities. He just want to create an environment in which any of us should be able to, to do something in order to have a decent life. This is exactly what we need. Professor Maurice Kamto wants to create that environment, that conducive environment for businesses. Because if we are able to get rid of the corruption, if we can share the resources fairly and across the country, if all Cameroonians can have better opportunities to express themselves, then you will see that the situation will change on the ground, and things will become better for Cameroonians who are suffering. Yes, I can tell you that Cameroonians have been suffering in the last 4 decades. We have to put an end to that, guys. So Professor Maurice Kamto is the unique option on the table. Let's make the right decision. Please share this video with your friends, guys, and subscribe.